Our 5-2 Seahawks flock east once again to take on the new darlings of the NFL, the Baltimore Ravens. This week we are focused on more. Will it be more K9 or more Charbonnet? Perhaps some more JSN, or do we need more DK? And we certainly want no more mad scrambling by Lamar Jackson and less easy receptions to Zay. So get fired up, flock. The Seahawks have their toughest test of the year. It's happening this Sunday, and we're discussing all these possibilities right here, right now on Seahawkers What If. Let's go. Welcome friends to the newest edition of Seahawkers What If, the most unique Seahawks preview show in the multiverse. I'm your host, Clinton Bonner, and I am joined by the one, the only, the great Brandon Schultz. And of course, folks, you know this could not be, we cannot traverse the Seahawks multiverse without the protector of the multiverse, and that is Mr. Phil Leidick down there. Hope you're watching it on YouTube, youtube.com/Seahawkers podcast. Please give the likes, give the subscribes, share it with 12s. Just keeping it dead simple. Gentlemen, we are 5-2. And yet, I think there's this echoing, this reverberation throughout the halls of the NFL saying, you know what, Seahawks, you got to go prove it. You still got to prove it. You're sure you're 5-2. You still got to go prove it. So now we got to go cross country once again. We got to go play a 10 a.m. Pacific time game once again, and we got to go play a Baltimore Ravens team that everybody seems to love and thinks is this unstoppable force, and yet we're the ones who got to go prove it. So I am excited to dive into this today. Brandon, how's that chip on my shoulder? You seeing that chip? Because I feel this chip, and the NFL's saying to us we got to go prove it. How am I
there is some movement, though. We've gone from, the Seahawks are just going to finish behind the Niners to, maybe we should watch the Seahawks team and see what they're doing. And at least we've moved into that position now. And then when we go and prove it against the Ravens, then people will realize, oh, hey, this team, they beat the Detroit Lions. And then they beat the team that blew out the Detroit Lions. And yes, now the Seahawks should be considered one of the top teams in the NFL. So we are only just days away from that realization.
Oh, I love the way you frame that, Brandon. So, Mr. Phil, are you feeling it as well? Pat McAfee got on, right? No sleeves as always, and said, hey, we need to talk about the Seahawks more. And he said, I apologize. We need to talk about this team more. We do it every single week. Are they finally catching up? Is the national media starting to see that, wait, we're cooking something up here?
I mean, if I'm going to be honest, Clinton, which I think I should be honest.
Yes.
I don't care about the public opinion, because if it's 99%, we don't get one more win than if it's 1%. I care about wins, Clinton. I want to get wins. I want to get the 1 seed. I'll take the 2 seed, but that's what I care about right now. What matters what anybody around this country thinks of my team. It's never amounted to anything, because it hasn't given me less or more wins. That's just me. I mean, I know some people that are different. That's how I feel. I want to win, and I do want to prove it. And I think that we got a great chance to do it against this really good Ravens team.
Yeah, big test coming up, and well said there, Mr. Phil. All right, so but as we get into What If, which is our preview show, we like to look back in a segment we call Previously with the Protector, where Mr. Phil brings on screen and talks about what did he see from this Ravens team last week, or maybe some weeks past as well, just to give us a little bit of an inkling of what should we know about? Who are the things to care about? How are they looking in general? And again, besides the national media fawning over them, let's see what Mr. Phil saw on the film. Yeah. So, Mr. Phil, please bring up the Previously with the Protector.
Let's do it, Brandon. We hit the switch. Here we go. This was a game that was 31-24 against another bird team. There's just birds flying around everywhere, but it wasn't that close. It just was at the end. The Ravens have a above average offense on point per game and DVOA. Their O-line is very reliable, it looks to me, in the pass game. Gus Edwards, I don't know if he's going to play yet for sure or not, but he's powerful, old school style. They have a couple runners. I don't think he practiced yesterday, so that's to be determined. Andrews is really good at everything. I mean, especially when it comes to the receiving aspect, but he can block too. Number 89, watch for him. Lamar, I call him a plethora playmaker because he can make plays any kind of way, but he does hold on to the ball. And we can remember what that does. 4 sacks, I think they were on him as much as anything, not on the O-line. Flowers, their rookie, number 4, slippery, shifty, good receiver to watch out for. It's going to be some cool matchup with him and Spoon, I think, possibly. They ran some of these cool, unbalanced line plays. They got a good score off of that in the red zone. They're really good in the red zone, by the way. So there's a lot to see in this team. We're gonna see how good our defense is going against this multifaceted offense. Defense, number 1 in points per game, number 2 in yards per game, number 1 in DVOA now after we helped the Browns drop. They have a penetrating D-line for sure. Screens looked pretty effective against them. Better against the pass than the run, quite clearly. They're very fast and decisive. They make a decision and go. Maybe that's why screens work. They had a couple easy picks in this game. Dobbs looked like garbage most of the game until the soft zone at the end. They were just taking advantage. Their guy, Geno Stone, has 5 picks already on the year, which is crazy. Number 26. He got an easy one. Pierce, of course, is a monster force as far as just wrecking things in the line there. Hit their defender. It was 24-7 with like 8 minutes to go. I think about 10 minutes they started doing some of the soft zone, and Dobbs seemed to like that a lot better. But their defense is no joke when they play normal. Did you guys see anything else from this team?
Just the one thing I want to just jump on is the fact that that the Gus Bus might have like you said, he does have a toe injury. I didn't realize he didn't practice yesterday. We were recording this on Thursday, so I did go look. It's a toe thing. Who knows if that means turf toe or sprained toe? Sure. Who knows? Who knows what it means? But there is a big delta, in my opinion, between Justice Hill and Gus Edwards. They're just very different types of backs. So it's just something that we're going to have to watch that and monitor. And things we say today may or may not be true, because if Gus plays, he is that power back. He is that old school back. Justice Hill, not quite the same flavor. And they would definitely, I feel the Ravens would definitely be missing the Gus Bus if he doesn't play. So that was interesting. Did not know that.
Brandon?
Just that this last game against the Cardinals, I felt like they kind of played down to their level. It didn't look like Lamar was even trying very hard. Like he was playing a scrimmage, and I just got that impression from him. Versus when you go back and you watch the Lions game, he was on point. And I wonder how consistent they can be playing in that way. But I would expect Lamar's best this week.
One quick thing there too was it was a good listen on Bootleg Football. They recapped the 5 most intriguing games of the week. And for folks who listen to Bootleg, or if you don't already, it's a great all NFL show, and go have a listen. And shout out to our boy EJ. And they cover that in with some extent, Brandon, where they're talking about a couple of weeks ago. Actually, no, it wasn't that show. Either way, Bootleg's great, but there was a different show that was on where they're like, hey, a couple of weeks ago versus Detroit, way more dynamic and way more just offensively, focused. And then the Arizona one was almost like you're saying, kind of going through the paces. It was almost like, hey, we're going to win, so we don't got to show you too much more. We're just going to give you almost preseason vanilla and still win the game. And
it definitely stood out for sure.
Yeah. And one quick correction that's on screen for you, Mr. Phil. Pierce is 58, and we have it as 5. So just want to, call that out. So Pierce, Michael Pierce, their nose tackle, but he is a force up there, but he's 5'8" for those who might be watching.
Thank you for fixing. Once again, I got a number. I put it in. I don't know what happens with my keys. Could be the missing pinky effect. I'm not really sure, but yes, 58. I didn't even see it when I was reading it that I had it wrong. Oh, and we might mention on special teams, Tucker's missed 3 field goals this year. So that's really weird. That's
and 1 extra point. He's missed as many kicks as Jason Myers this year.
Wow.
Good point, Brandon. Very
bad,
good point.
So off bad year for him. Hopefully that continues. We could shove the odd year Myers off on Tucker. I like that. All right. So that is previously with the protector. Now we're going to get into the themiology. So Mr. Phil, you could roll right into that every single week on What If. Mr. Phil crafts a very unique theme. We think it's a very entertaining and enlightening way to get through the preview, and not just get through it, but we're going to have discussions that I think nobody else out there is frankly having. So Phil, what'd you bake for us this time? What's the theme? I got my popcorn ready. I'm excited.
Well, I made it simple this time, Clinton. We had a lot of fun with the throwback, and we'll probably get another throwback game down the road. But this time, what do we want after we win? We want more wins. And since Baltimore has more in it, what if we win more against Baltimore? And so all of these categories that you get to look behind and find the question have to do with the word more. So sometimes you need more help. Sometimes you need just a little more time. Sometimes you want more. And maybe if you're Kylo Ren, that's what you want. Sometimes you can make things more difficult. Then you want to say no more. And then maybe we could be looking for some more experience. This game is an even number game for the Hawks, which means Clinton goes first.
Ooh.
Where are we going first, Clinton?
Oh, I'm going to go right to the top of this heap, and I'll tell you why. Because you put the exclamation point in there. I'm feeling like it's some Beatles. Help! I need somebody. Help! Not just anybody. Help! Let's go.
Very good. If you only to put the melody to that, it really could have added to the. But it was
Brandon got on me last time for not the BK song. Brandon, the DK have it your way, right?
You just you need to improve your singing on the show. We need more singing.
We need more singing. Got it. Thank
you. Right? That's what we need. More of it. Here we go. Clinton, what if the help we brought in shows up against the Ravens? How will we recognize it in this matchup, especially the big trade for Leo? But we also brought Frank back. He's getting his sea legs under him, or his wings, I guess. How's it going to show up against the Ravens team?
So I was going to just talk about D. Eskridge for half an hour straight with the help you brought in recently. But I guess I'll talk about Leonard Williams for a bit. And Frank Clark part. That part quickly. I'll just say, can he be a little more effective? That was not the best showing, but I'm also not off the rails on it. Some people are like, I'm done with Frank Clark. I can't believe he didn't look that good.
He was here for 2 days before the game started.
Exactly. It's just like the patience of people in general at this point, and sports, it's so whittled down to like they need instant gratification and instant results. Like, holy crap, let's just let Frank get a little more acclimated. So maybe that's just it for him, is a little more acclimated for Frank Clark, maybe just a play or two on the edge, and great. That's kind of enough from him. The big dog, the big one from Leo, how are we going to see it? Let's see. You don't want to get too far upfield with Lamar Jackson and be out of control, right? Because that's when he's gone. He's gone. The human joystick that he is. So how will we see it? I'd say that just the pure maturity of an understanding of an 8-year vet who can win at the line consistently when they are passing the ball, and not see these blow-bys where Lamar's going right past them. So still winning at the line, establishing, holding things up, because he's a powerful man. Leonard Williams is a powerful dude. And if it shows out that way, that means it's going to give the speed guys right behind him. Now, whether that's Jamal down the box, whether that's Jordan Brooks, whomever it might be, that means that they're open to make the tackles if Lamar's trying to get out of it. That's just one of the ways I think it'll show up from Leo's perspective, but it's a big one. Leonard Williams is a very good defensive tackle. And I don't know about you guys, a third for Chase or a second for Leonard Williams. Dude, give me the defensive tackle. That's the more premium position. Give me the DT in a spot where we need some help there. That help is big. That Leo help is going to be huge. That's how it will show up.
How about you, Brandon? How are we going to recognize the new help being effective against the Ravens?
I think we'll see the Ravens move off of one of the interesting things about the Ravens is that they actually run the ball more than they pass. They're at 51% in terms of their run play percentage to 49 in the pass. And so I think if we're impacting it based on what we've brought in with Leonard Williams, the addition of Frank Clark, if we could skew that to more like 60% pass, because another interesting stat is that Lamar Jackson's been sacked 20 times on the season. And to have that heavy of a rush offense, but then also have 20 sacks already this season, I think if you can skew that with this defensive line, maybe it turns into more sacks. Hopefully, at least it turns into more pressures. But if you get them out of that run heavy cycle, I think it improves the Seahawks' chances for winning.
I love it. And both their tackles are banged up. One of them their left didn't practice, and the other one is limited. So there's some uncertainty. I was trying to see if Harbaugh had given any clues as to what was going to happen on that, but there's definitely some uncertainty regarding their O-line this week. We're a lot healthier than them, which is a rare thing to say.
Not cheering for injuries, but they're already injured. So just take a week. Take a week.
Just get rested up for like one of the games that matters in your own conference, right?
There you go.
Yes, precise.
Okay, so we got to cross off. Help is gone already. Brandon, where are we going next?
Yeah, shoot. If we have a Star Wars option, more.
Or it's a song, one of the two. I wasn't sure, but
it can be both. Yeah.
Here we go. Brandon, what if there are 3 things we must see more of in this matchup? Who or what should be noteworthy? There's some stuff we got to see a little bit more from some areas of our team in this matchup.
All right. Well, 3 things. I am going to say I'm going to call out 3 different players on the offensive side of the ball for this.
Okay.
And going back to last game against the Browns, we didn't see enough carries from Kenneth Walker. We didn't see enough carries from Zach Charbonnet. And recognizing that you called out Pierce in your rundown, Phil, I'm going to say we need a lot more from Anthony Bradford, because that is the guy that I want to see moving Pierce and has that opportunity to match up against the big guy on their side of the ball. So if we're running to the right side, we're running with those 2 guys. I want to see a good game from all 3.
Awesome. I love it. And do we think it's going to be Phil and Bradford rotating, or do you think it's just going to be Bradford and Phil's going to be there just in case? Any idea?
I'm going to say we stick with Bradford.
Okay. All right. So we heard Brandon's 3 things he wants to see more of. How about you, Clinton?
Yeah, so I will pile on that more canine, and that could be more sharp as well. The Ravens are gettable against the run. I think they're giving up 4.5 yards per carry, something right around there. So very pedestrian against the rush. I think that sets up well for we had the canine explosive last game. Nice block with Stone Forsythe getting around the swinging around there and sealing it off. 40 something yards later. Really nice job. So I want to see a few more canine explosives specifically. That's number 1. Number 2, I want to, Tariq Woolen. I hope they put him on the jugs machine after that second interception that he should have had. I don't know what happened. He just looks down like his hands melted, right? He should have had that second pick. Lamar Jackson throws a lot of questionable balls. Now, yes, you can look at the stats and say he only has 3 interceptions on the year. Facts are facts. That's what it is. With that, he puts up a lot of balls that are like, oh, that could have been picked. So I want to see specifically, I don't think they're going to be testing Witherspoon. I think the word's out, stay off that dude's side of the street. All right. Well, what does that mean? That means we're going to have some more balls going Woolen's way. And if we're getting the pressure we think we can get Lamar on the move, I want to see Woolen come down with a pick as well, or at least another step up in his game, because you got Seahawks fans like, oh, he's underperforming. Well, guess what? Other dudes are like playing at all pro level. Like, heaven forbid, Woolen's not an all pro this year. He's just playing kind of solid cornerback. So I want to put those haters down for a week at least and see Woolen reaccelerate with another pick or some big plays. The last one is, I really think we need to have Brandon talked about the right side of our line in Bradford. I'm a little bit like, our left side of our line, when we run the ball, that's got to get better. Charles Cross is a good, he's a good pass blocker. His run blocking is still like, and then you got D-Lou, which I call D-Glue. I think that dude is just solid as can be. I want to see some more efficacy on running the ball to the left-hand side, because we need that balance. That's why I know we can run it to the right. I know we can. I've seen that over and over again. Want to see it to the left as well this week.
Yeah, a lot of interesting points I wanted to comment on. I did think it was cool last week. It seemed like Shane heard some of your advice on throwing on first down. We seem to just get rid of the ball quick no matter what. And some of that was a little dangerous, but it definitely kept the Browns from making the plays they had against a lot of people. And I am curious, because Pete after the game's like, yeah, I want to run it more, but we have to make it on third down to be able to run it more. So we'll see what kind of adjustments Shane does in connection to how things went last week. But if Pete's got his thumb on something, it's more canine and more sharp on it, as we say.
Love it.
Here we go. So it's more is gone. Clinton, time, difficult, no, or experience.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I want to just say no more. No more. No is a pretty powerful word. You got to learn to use it. So no.
Okay, that we were kind of tipping toward this, so this transitions nicely. What if Geno, and I'm one of the biggest Geno fans in the whole multiverse, but what if Geno can end his turnover streak? How will he remain effective without putting the ball in harm's way? Because I think this is the key question. It's not that Geno can't stop doing turnovers, but can Geno still make his difference-making plays and reduce the turnovers? If he can, how can he do it, Clinton?
I think there's a chalk answer, and I'm not going to not take it.
Okay.
We
No,
look
great. That's what we want to hear. Yeah.
Yeah, we look at the game last time, and we see Tyler, whatever he was, 8 for 9, right? And we see JSN 3 for 3, and we see Noah Fant 2 for 2. And then we see DK at 5 for 14. Now that's not on DK, by the way. Like, DK is not the one pushing a button and making the ball come his way.
Yeah.
There was a lot of 3 to 4 to 5 where Geno's accuracy was just off to DK on like slants. That part to me, and then on top of that, there was a couple that were like, ooh, those are forced. We covered that one of the outs on 3 and 3 out was that play, that shot to the end zone with 40 seconds to go. Was like, dude, no.
Game loser. Yeah.
Dude, do not make that throw. Throw it away. Live another day, right? I think it's a statistically as simple as less volume DK's way because they pretend to be ones that he's forcing. So if that comes down to his typical 8 to 9, attempts his way, cool. That feels about right. And then what happens is the other ones tick up a little bit, maybe 2 or 3 more to JSN, maybe some love for Fant or other tight ends, and they are more high percentage balls as a default. So that's the way. Is like, I'm not sure we need 14 passes going DK's way. Specifically if it's a Marlon Humphreys thing where like he's the dude out there who's really staying with DK or just happens to be on DK more often because of the side of the field. There's some weaknesses that are not that dude. So let's see how they play at the Ravens, but that's all, man. Let's just not overweight on DK. They tend to lead to force balls, and that leads to balls going in harm's way, and we don't need that.
Yeah, I have a follow-up question, but I want to hear Brandon's first because I think there's a couple key issues here that we have to consider. But Brandon, what do you have to say about how Geno can end his turnover streak but remain effective?
Well, I think when it comes down to ending the turnover streak, a big part of some of those forced passes this last week was because of all the matchups at receiver that you're going to trust with one-on-one throws, it would be DK Metcalf. And the reason why you're having to make those split decision one-on-one throws is because of the offensive line and the fact that they gave up nearly 50% pressure rate. And he was dropping back doing 3-step drops, and he was still getting immediate pressure. So to me, how you remain effective without putting the ball in harm's way is that the offensive line gives you more protection. And so whether or not you need to have multiple tight ends, whether or not you need to have your best pass blocking running back in the backfield to stop some of those, because we're going to see Kyle Hamilton coming off the edge, their safety. And that's a guy that you have to slow down, or else he's going to be putting the immediate pressure on Geno. So how they handle Kyle Hamilton is going to be a big way of ending Geno's turnover streak.
Okay, so here's my question, and I don't want to drag things out, but I think this is important contrast. This isn't a put down or praise Russ, but Russ was always more of a see it and throw it guy. Geno is trying to be an anticipate ahead of time guy. And that's part of what you're talking about here, Brandon. We can't give the defense time. So we got to decide ahead who's going to get open. And should we say stop trusting DK to beat his one-on-one guy? Is there a better way for him to see what the defense is giving him? Like, because ultimately I like a quarterback to like have the defense tell me where I'm throwing it, especially when you have this many good playmakers, and not say, well, I'm just going DK. But is there a way for him to not go to the I have to see him open before I throw it, which leads to tons of ridiculous sacks, still be anticipatory and not have the Matt Hasselbeck level turnovers?
I think there is a way with ball placement. If you think about the one interception to the sideline, if he throws it a little bit more high and outside, then it doesn't put the ball in danger. You think about the throw to the end zone. If he gets a little more air under it, it goes more toward the back of the end zone rather than off of the dude's helmet that's in DK's lap. So, but there's others that just aren't going to be accurate when you're trying to step back, you're facing immediate pressure and you can't get your shoulders square or you can't get your feet placed and you're trying to hurry a throw, then that's going to lead to inaccuracy too. So you are counting on the offensive line to give you enough time to do some of those basic things to just get a pass off.
Did you have anything to add on this topic at all, Clinton?
Just a little bit, my answer is that like I enjoy that Geno is a really good reader of the line before he hikes the ball. He's quite good at that. And some of the throttling into more 11 personnel has also led to something else. It's like, okay, we were like 70% or so 11 personnel last week. That was kind of what we predicted before the season when we drafted JSN, injuries and all that stuff, and we're in 12 and 13 a lot more. Okay, we're kind of getting back to what we thought it would be, around 70% or more 11 personnel. With 11 personnel also comes more motion. And then with more motion, you give Geno that chance to say, okay, what was the reaction? And then that leads actually to more anticipatory throwing. So I think these things are like a bit of a confluence of themselves, where last year there was less of that. So it's actually less pre-reading last year because of less motion. And so these things, it's a bit of a double-edged sword. It gives Geno more time to see something before it even happens, which is cool. And in certain times, he's going to trust something and it's not the right call right away. So it's like, how do you get that balance? I'm not sure you do so much as just trust what we're doing. And that Geno is gonna, he's gonna make a throw or two where you're like, ooh, but he's also gonna do that throw where he spins out of a hellscape, gets left, and puts a beautiful touch to the back of the end zone for Lockett for 6. And that's like something 5 QBs in the NFL can do, and he's one of them.
And that's a different scenario. I'm kind of thinking about the ones where he's just decided ahead. Here's my guy. I actually think that pass at the end that could have lost the game, there was a perfect pass to throw, but he's counting on himself to make an absolute dot to the very back line, and it had to lob over the top. He didn't get enough air on it, and because he waited too long. So sometimes maybe he's overconfident in how good of a bucket throw he can throw down the field. And if he's on those, he's going to hit him.
He's also really good at recognizing, though, like in that situation, the defensive back had his back to him. So he didn't think that he was trusting DK to at least be able to go up, make the catch, swat it down, that the defensive back wasn't going to be able to make a play on it because he wasn't watching for the football.
To jump up. Yeah. Okay. I know I drug that out a little bit, but I think those are key things to consider for Geno. We are at Brandon at this moment, I believe.
Yep. All right. How about experience?
Okay. Let's talk about the young guys a little bit here.
Ooh.
Here we go.
What a twist.
What if our young guys can begin to express more maturity? Why will that matter from this game and beyond? I'm not to say they're showing immature, but how can some maturity, some experience start to show up as we seek to improve from this point, Brandon?
Yeah, I think my mind immediately goes to the receivers just because Jake Bobo and JSN have been back-to-back games where they scored touchdowns. And it's that type of mature, just for them to be able to be that involved this early on and be that impactful as receivers, I think is a big part of this matchup against the Ravens. And to go back to some of our discussion too about, whether or not you use 3 wide receivers on the field or 2 tight ends, I think a guy like Jake Bobo can be kind of that in-between type player because he is such a good blocker that, maybe if you want to decide to go, to run a guy in motion, you can have Bobo out there, use him in that way, but then also have him out there and his ability to block, hopefully, maybe bounce out into a route after that block and be available for a catch. I would like to see a little bit more of the balance use between, because I want DK out there most of the time. I want Tyler out there most of the time. I would actually like to see a nice balance between Bobo and JSN in this game. And I think they have the maturity to be able to be okay with having that balance, even though he's a first round pick for JSN. I don't see him getting frustrated at all just because there might be a better matchup versus one over the other in any particular game.
Awesome. What kind of benefits are we going to see from the experience and maturity from our young guys here, Clinton?
So I got two dudes in mind. They're both on the offensive side, and it's about a rounding out of their game, you know. So they're known for one thing, and we would love them to be known for all things, or at least be a B on all things. So my first one is Anthony Bradford. He's the run mauler, right? He's out there. He's a body mover. Really, really cool. He right now is not. It's kind of the anti Charles Cross, right? He's not a great pass protector, and it becomes a liability on those plays where we're bleeding through the interior right side of our line. And just, I don't know how you mature like overnight and then gradually get this better throughout the rest of the year. However,
Mistakes.
Mistakes
lead to maturity or discouragement. One or the other.
Why did we fall, right? So and he's been picking himself back up. He is learning, but he is a body mover. He is a powerful dude. So whatever he can do, whatever he can glean from the experience around him, being next to Evan Brown and then being across, if you will, if you allow that, to D-Lou on the other side as his guard partner,
Or
rounding
Peters.
that. Yeah, well, just right, just watching a 42-year-old dude who's likely Hall of Fame bound, right? So are there ways in which he could round his game out to become more mature? Likely, yes, because he's a rookie, and that's what happens with smart guys who are effective, who pay attention and put the time into to improve their craft. The other one is I never want to take away K9's desire for the big explosion. I never want to take that away. There are still those times where you want to see put the head down, go get 3.5, 4 yards, live to play another day. There's nothing wrong with 3.5, 4 yards.
Yeah.
A little bit more of that from K9. And here's the deal: if he can't deliver that, or he's just not wired that way, well, the result is we will see more Charbonnet.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing. That'll just come at the after the equation sign will be a little bit less for K9, a little bit more for Sharbs.
His best runs come when he runs the play right anyway. He's not getting his best runs by being creative. He's getting his best runs by going where they designed it.
Yeah, that honestly typically tends to be true. He does get sometimes though the screen that's like that should be a -2 and he gets 3 because he's so special. So I don't want to take away the specialty, but when it's just, hey, go get 3 or 4, go get 3 or 4. There's nothing wrong in the NFL with 4 yards, especially if it's like first down.
Very good. I love those. I love how, because we have so many young guys, we didn't even talk about the sophomores that have all kinds of things to learn. There is just so many ways for our team to keep getting better. That's maybe what's the most exciting thing about this. Clinton, we have 2 left. More time or more difficult. It's more difficult on myself. Where are we going?
I'm going to go with a little Hootie and the Blowfish, time. Letting Mr. Phil sing it. So there you go. You did say No Time, which of course could be the Guess Who, because they have a great song with No Time.
Yeah. So we're doing Time, which there's a lot of time songs, right?
Oh, yes. That makes sense.
Here we go, Clinton. What if the Hawks can improve their time of possession differential, which was atrocious last game? How is that effectively accomplished against our brothers of another feather? When we think about this matchup, can we actually improve our TOP?
Yes, we can, and we must. And this is thank you for bringing up that last time that maybe Shane Waldron's a big fan and listened and said, hey, we're going to have to throw the ball on first down. We're going to have to, we want to flip the script and do the short area things on first down and throw the ball with a high rate. I think we're going to want to kind of put the reverse on this one. I think this is going to be an overweight first down runs. And what should it do if we're being at least somewhat effective is setting up the second and third down. So that's it. That's because what happens, of course, you carry it forward a little bit, a few more longer drives, a few more first down conversions. We're not talking about much. You convert 2 or 3 more times on third down or whatever it is, 3 more first downs in a game. Just start doing the mental numbers there.
Yeah.
That could be 4 more minutes back on your side of the ledger. That can make or break a game. We don't want Lamar touching the ball for 33 minutes or more. Probably won't happen anyway. They tend to get some big plays and kind of score fast sometimes anyway. With that, less time with Lamar with the ball is any second he doesn't have the ball in his hands, that's a win for us. But that's how they'll do it.
Love it. Brandon, how about you? How can we get more time with the ball?
It takes me to one of my more concerning statistics when I look at these two teams, and that is that the Ravens defense, their opponent's third down conversion percentage is at 37% on the year, which compare that to the Seahawks at 45%. And that is a huge margin between these two defenses. So I'm going to go to our defense and say, we need you to step up, stop these guys on third down, especially if a healthy Gus Edwards is out there running the ball. That's the guy that you need to shut down, because if he goes out there and has a big day, well, and whether, it could be Hill too, having a day in, if he has to play more snaps too, or if Lamar is getting outside and, picking up some of those runs. We didn't see it a whole lot against Arizona, but I don't think he needed that. We saw him run more, I think, in that Lions game. So it's going to be on this defense to shut down those third down runs by the Ravens, and that's going to help benefit the offense in terms of their time of possession.
Yeah, that's
Hey,
going to be
Phil. Yeah, I want to bring this in because I had this note. I feel like this is the best time to bring it in. So, pardon the interruption there. I hear the stat that Brandon's putting out there. That's a compelling stat. That, hey, basically on third down, they're shutting teams down, and we've struggled there. I do want to, again, I think there's this coronation of the Ravens, and I think it's just you don't win the Super Bowl or lose it in October and now early November. This is who they've played. Okay, they played the Texans week 1. Okay. Rookie CJ Stroud, week 1. Okay. In Baltimore. All right. They played the Bengals week 2. That they won. Good win because the Bengals are still good. But we know that Burrow was nowhere near where he is now. And we see what he's doing now. All right. They lost to the Colts. All right. So they lost to the Colts in overtime. They did run through the Browns, but that was no excuses there. They beat the Browns good. They got out of the gate really strong to beat the Browns. They lose to the Steelers 17-10. They kind of get by the Titans, and then they mollywomped the Lions. They motorboated the Lions, had a really good game plan. And then they played the Cardinals. My point being, where are the good teams on their schedule that were so worried? Yes, they're a good defense. I don't see a lot of great teams they've played so far. I'm not saying they're cupcakes. There's no easy wins in the NFL. But between when they played the Bengals and then the Colts, the Texans, the Steelers, the Titans, they haven't played a very strong schedule yet. So I just think I think it's a little too early to be so concerned with the Ravens defense. I hope I'm wrong, but I think I'm right.
Yeah. And then to Brandon's point about Lamar rushing, I've heard people say, oh, Lamar doesn't run like he used to. He's getting older. I mean, I'm looking. I know I misled you last week on the stats. 74 carries for 380 yards. I mean, he's still averaging 47.5 yards a game. He didn't even need to run against the Cards.
Right.
He saves it for when he needs it. But that guy's as dangerous as ever. He's not just, well, I'm not running anymore because my beard's getting gray. That's not happening with him.
No, he's still he's really good. he's a problem. He's really good, and that's anybody who says elsewise is kind of just being a fool, right? He does have his off games. The big thing is don't let them motorboat you out of the gate. They motorboated Cleveland. They motorboated the Lions. If it's 14-3 in the first quarter, we're losing. Good luck. If it's not, we're going to be in this thing the entire way.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, and that gives us a lot of hope. This is a tough game. I mean, this is as a positive person, I call it a coin flip game, and I don't know where you guys are, but okay, we have difficult or difficult, everybody's favorite category in Pictionary. More difficult. Here we go, Brandon. Then we've just kind of teed this up as we've in our conversation here. What if the Hawks can make things difficult for a specific player? Who must we frustrate to increase odds of victory? I mean, you could take Lamar, or maybe you have somewhere else you want to go. Talk a little more Lamar. You're up first, Brandon. You get to choose.
Yeah, I think one guy that we haven't talked about a whole lot yet is Mark Andrews, the Baltimore Ravens tight end. And if I can make things difficult on Andrews, I think I'm also making things difficult on Lamar, because it's that connection that is really solid. And it's one that I worry about on offense, that if we have that answer for it, so whether it's covering him with Julian Love, whether you're getting Jamal Adams out in coverage, whether or not you're hitting him off the line just to kind of break up some of that timing, I think how the Seahawks handle Andrews and finding ways to frustrate him is going to be one of the keys to victory.
All right, Clinton, who do you got? We got to make it more difficult for this player.
Yeah, I mean, great answer, by the way. I love Brendan's 2 for 1 there. I won't answer Lamar. I will say that, Lamar also fumbles the ball a lot, right? So just
4
the
fumbles
ways
already. Yeah,
I think 8 fumbles.
I thought
I'm pretty sure. I think he's got 8 fumbles on the year.
Maybe it's 8 turnovers.
I think he's got 8 fumbles, but either way, let's check.
4 in the running game. He has 4 fumbles, but he only lost 2 of them in the running game.
Right. He's gotten sacked and fumbled quite a bit this year so far. So but that's not even the answer. We do need to heat up Lamar and still contain him, but I think we got the personnel for that. We're fast and we tackle well. That's what you need. So I think we're going to be okay there. I think we match up okay on the Lamar spectrum. I'm going to flip it over and say, I would love to see Roquan Smith having a frustrating day. And so he's the all-world, all-pro linebacker, right? He's, Bobby Wagner, primetime Bobby Wagner. So we're talking what, 2014 Bobby Wagner, something like that. Just absolutely all over the field. Got him for a song and a dance from the Bears. I know it was a first-round pick, but still.
Number zero for those watching at home.
Double zeros out there, Roquan Smith. So what can you do? How can you frustrate them? I get frustrated when we abandon the middle of the field, when we start to be totally outside the hashes and we're taking shots that are way wide. So what does that mean for me? That I'm going to go back to hey, a little bit more of those tight ends, a little more of JSN. JSN was only really horizontal last week. He was only horizontal. He was just his 3 catches. I think he had an 8 out of like minus 0.2 or something like that. They were all just little bubble thingies. Let's get JSN deployed over the center of the field there. Let's get Tyler there as well. Let's get Smith frustrated and annoyed that he and their team can't get off the field on 3rd downs because we're getting 3rd and 4 conversions, little mesh routes, little drag routes. And let's just see that frustration bake into what is an all-pro player. So he's just less effective out there. That would be super, just really cool to see if we could flip that script, because for so many years, not this year, but for so many years, that's what we've seen teams kind of do that to us in the last 4 or 5 years. And wouldn't that be special, right? To kind of give a little bit of their own medicine and watch their premier player just slamming the helmet and just not having answers to how to stop this team in short down distance. I would love to see that.
I didn't see Dobbs even try hardly to throw in the middle field. I don't know if it's because he can't or if the Ravens are really good at defending it. That's a good.
Well, they got great linebackers, right? They have really good linebacker play, including Roquan. So that might be the why there, but I want to test it. I think we've got great talent that can test that. And I think we should not be afraid to try it.
Yeah. I like that we are all right about the turnover stat with Lamar. He's had 8 fumbles, but he's lost 5. And he's made that up with 3 interceptions. So 8 turnovers total.
There it is. Everybody was right and wrong and accurate. And okay. Glad you found
the math checks out,
a website that says things properly, because sometimes the internet can be tricksy.
No.
Here we go. We're going to go to the flock, and we're going to get to your guys' wishes soon here in just a moment. But if you want to be a true 100% Seahawk flocker, you got to get in the Discord. We have a great time there throughout the week and on game day. Brandon, how do people join the flock?
Getintheflock.com. $3 a month and above gets you into our Discord. Or if you join on YouTube, click the join button. I believe you get a link straight to the Discord as well. If you don't, shoot me an email, gohawks@seahawkerspodcast.com.
Awesome. 4 of these people did that along with the many other flockers, but 4 wanted to put a wish in the well, which we need wishes to come true this week. Boye, como va? My wish. I probably said that all wrong. You guys are laughing.
No, it's great. That's perfect. Yeah, that's exactly it.
It's the Santana song.
Santana. Oye, como va?
Okay. Geno figures out whatever the disconnect with DK is, whether it's targeting less, or throwing it in a way DK likes better, or anything else. Okay, I love this because I think we're all thinking that in some kind of way. Can't we figure this out? I wish that as well. Car has wished we stay consistent with the run throughout the game and don't fall off like we did last week. I'm glad we won, but yes, I think we could have ran more last week, and we need to this week. Witherfork, my wish this week is to contain Lamar and make him try and beat us through the air. Now, containing Lamar, that's a big wish. I would like to see that. Red Wagon, we hold the turnovers to less than 1. Ravens are opportunistic, and giving up short fields is going to hurt. We can't be turning it over 2+ times and hope for a win. Great wisdom in these wishes. If these wishes come true, we're going to be sitting pretty. Glad they put those in the well for us, but we got to get to our co-host wishes. What if Superhawk Clinton goes first?
Yes, I'm excited for this. So we're going to welcome. The nice part for Leonard Williams, or maybe not, is that he had to get on a plane to fly west to go meet his new teammates and only to fly back east to get back to the East Coast to play the Ravens. And why not? They're professionals. They get paid millions of dollars and they're used to it. It's all good. The planes are comfy. I want to see Leonard Williams. How do I encapsulate this? Let's just go for it. Let's go with the Leonard Williams sack.
Ooh!
He gets the sack. It's in a big moment, and it's just his presence as our brand new Seahawk is bright and shiny, and the entire NFL is going to take notice that number 99 is now dead smack in the middle of our Seahawks line. So Leonard Williams, big game, including a sack.
Leo bags the sack, first game out of the door. Brandon, how about you?
All right. Well, I am also going with a sack master as my Super Hawk because we've got Boye Mafe with 5 consecutive games with the sack. If he gets his 6th sack against the Ravens, that ties a franchise record that was set by Michael Sinclair, who had 6 sacks, but it was across 2 seasons.
Wow.
He had 2 at the end of 97, and then he started 98 with 4 straight games with a sack. But Boye, to be able to do it in a single season, he gets a sack, and I'm going to one-up Clinton and say, you can't just do sacks. You also got to add pressures. Boye Mafe, 4 pressures on the day.
Wow,
Brandon
I like it.
Brandon loves his streak wishes. So, like, if we all go streaking, I don't know what that is, but that'll be okay.
He does like this. I got a little pop culture quiz for the audience and for us too. In bowling, what do they call it when you get 6 strikes in a row?
Double turkey.
Good, a very good guess.
That was gonna be my guess, but I knew it was wrong, but that was my guess.
Yeah, just simply called a 6-pack or a sixer. So Boye going for the 6-pack. I like it.
Something I've never done for sure. Okay, we're gonna get our score predictions. Brandon is on a heater. Third time in a row he has won. Clinton, he was very close on his wish by creative means, but it didn't quite get there. I know Brandon, neither one got the wish, but Brandon was much closer on the score. It was a very close game as we anticipated, except for Clinton was calling for a beatdown. And so now Brandon has the lead. Here's your chance, Clinton.
Yes. Okay. Would have been a beatdown if they didn't call DPI on Tariq. So, which is true. All right. So this game is going to be tighter, no matter how you slice it. We are going to win this game. The Seahawks win the game 26-23. And
Wow.
dare I tell you all, yes, right? The Ravens have not allowed more than 25 points this year, right? Not allowed it. They're going to 26-23. And this game gets decided in overtime.
Love it. I just love a win. That's all I want this week. How about you, Brandon? I guess the refs helped you win, according to Clinton last week. What's going to happen in this game?
I think we're going to be helped by a Justin Tucker missed field goal. The Seahawks will have a 2-point lead going into the final 2 minutes of the game. So I'm going to say, I don't think they get to 26. I'll say 24-22 is their lead going into the final 2 minutes. Justin Tucker lines up for a 52-yard field goal, something that should be within his range. He misses it. Seahawks win 24-22.
I just like wins. I don't care if we win 12-11, 2-3, 57-54. I just hope for a win because a win's going to mean we are on our way. With that, gentlemen, what if we say go Hawks?
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks. More wins, more wins.
More.